Hi guys. So I wanted to go over the two genetics pedigree worksheets so that you have the correct answers to the questions. So again, there are many different types of pedigrees, and you have to kind of look for clues about what type of pedigree it is by looking at the differences in the generations, whether you have people being affected in each generation. So, for example, in this pedigree right here, there is nobody affected in the second generation. That gives us a big hint that this is probably a recessive pedigree. Okay, so we can figure out also that this is probably not sex linked, it's autosomal because there are both females and males affected. Okay, so the first question was try to identify the genotypes of the following individuals using the pedigree above. So for number 3 dash Roman numeral 3-3, the genotype would be right over here. It's shaded, so the female is affected, and we know that we're skipping a generation, so it is homozygous recessive, the genotype, homozygous recessive. Okay. The second one, so Roman numeral 2-1, over here, Roman numeral 2-1 would be, it is a offspring of this couple over here. If the offspring is, the male parent is affected, we know that he must be passing his allele to all of his children, because he has to be homozygous recessive. So if we are talking about this being a hemophilia, then he would be HH, for example, and she would be she could be big H, and then they have 3 children, and all of them are probably going to be, when they're not affected, they are going to be big H, small h. So they're going to be heterozygous. Okay, so this individual here, this daughter of this couple is going to be heterozygous. And then 1-1, this father right here, is going to be, as I mentioned to you before, homozygous recessive, because it's shaded, he's shaded, and he's a male that is affected. So it's homozygous recessive. And my writing is cut off. So, and then the last one here is number 2-4, which is right over here, generation 2, Roman numeral number 2-4. And again, this person, because this person right here, this female from another couple, marries this male from this couple, and they both are unaffected because they're both not shaded, but they have children. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children altogether, 2 of which right over here, these 2 are shaded. So they have to both, this male here and this female over here, have to be heterozygous. So Roman numeral 2-4 has to have a heterozygous genotype, okay? So a mix. Because the only way that you can have affected individuals in a recessive pedigree is when you have two parents that are heterozygous for the trait. Number 1, is this trait dominant or recessive? So basically it is, as I mentioned before, it is recessive. It is a recessive trait because generation number Roman numeral 2 does, no one in that generation doesn't have the disease or disorder, whereas generations 1 and 2 do have it. So it skips a generation. That's a big clue to show that it is a recessive trait that we're talking about. Number 2, how can you know for sure that individuals 2-3 and 2-4 are heterozygous? Well, we know this because their offspring have the disease, okay? Right? So this person right here, this male right here, and this female right here, they have to have be heterozygous because these two children have the actual disease. They're homozygous recessive. Okay, and so they must both be carriers. And oops, what happened here? Brown eyes are dominant eye color allele, and blue eyes are recessive. Brown-eyed woman whose father had blue eyes and whose mother had brown eyes marries a brown-eyed man whose parents are also brown-eyed. They have a son who's blue-eyed. Please draw a pedigree showing all 4 grandparents, the 2 parents, and the son, and indicate which individuals you are certain of their genotype and where there are more than one possibility. Okay, so I think I'm going to have to draw this on another page because I'm not going to be able to fit in here, and I will attach it to this. I will attach it to the video to show you exactly what this looks like. Okay, I'm going to do another recording for the other worksheet.